Hi. Hey, I'm Pavani J. How are you guys? What's up, everybody? I'm the CEO and founder of Exquisite PR firm. I'm also the host of Exquisite Conversations that comes on Thursday nights at 11 p.m. Central Standard Time, 12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and 9 p.m. Pacific Time. I'm also the host of Winding Down Late Night Conversation that comes on Sunday nights at 9 p.m. And tonight we're here with Trent Out Loud. We've been promoting this all week, you guys. He's here in the flesh, and we can't wait to meet him. He's an amazing entrepreneur, and we're going to let him tell us about himself, but we're going to do it like we always do it, you guys. You guys know that I'm Pavani J, CEO and founder, and to the right of me, I have
King Jacob, yours truly, owner of the Chatterbox with King Jacob, Kennard Media Music Management, and also the CEO of Exquisite PR firm, and of course, the head honcho of Big Mouth Media.
My turn.
And yes, to the bottom of me, I do
Yeah,
have.
exactly. What's up, y'all? It's Trent Out Loud coming at you live from Toronto, Canada, with the dope background that I spent a lot of time working on. My three other co-hosts here, I outdid them. And to the left of me,
hi everybody, this is Ashley Marie on the West Coast in California, and can't wait to get started, y'all. Let's get to know Trent Out Loud.
yes. Let's get to know you, Trent Out Loud. Tell us a little bit about you. What's up?
Yes, my name is Trent. I coming at you guys today because I am the author of two books. First book was How Sneakers Saved My Life. Second book, How Sneakers Ruined My Life. I decided to write my book. It's my 15-year anniversary with my sneaker boutiques up here in Canada. And after my 15 years, I've always, people have always asked me kind of like, how did you get started? How did you build the company? Can you, everybody wants to be entrepreneurial these days. So from the various questions and DMs that I always got, kind of asked me for some feedback on some, ups and downs of entrepreneurialism. I decided to write my books. The first book is really about the rise of Exclucity, and I started selling long tees and Durags out the trunk of my car. 15 years ago, driving from Montreal to New York, Canal Street, trying to find a plug, finding it in Midtown Manhattan, bringing it back, and then slowly getting certain accounts, getting Nike, Adidas accounts, and then scaling up from there. And then the second book is How Sneakers Ruined My Life, and that starts off in 2015, where we have our 10 stores. I'm a multi-million-dollar brand, national brand, and it's when I kind of take a step back and I'm like, hey, as a kid growing up, that motto of like get rich or die trying. You were hustling and you're trying to attain everything, and I felt like around 2015, like I kind of really got lost in the money and the success, and I really wasn't happy. And that old saying, that whole like money's not going to make you happy, it's really true. And from there I kind of took a step back. Ironically, as I decided to take a step back and concentrate on myself, the sneaker industry took a big shift. Kanye West left Nike for Adidas, and things started going a little crazy, and the sneaker industry changed. So while I was trying to figure myself out, I had to pivot, had to close down some stores, and
I'm already no stepping at me.
Sorry?
They're gonna see me.
Oh, and then things took a downward turn from there, and here I am today, live to talk about it, and that's why I'm on your show here to get a little bit into the weeds of both books.
Okay. Trent Out Loud. Great. So you were traveling from Montreal to Canal Street. And for those of us that know about NYC, New York City. You know that you can find everything you want on Canal Street and anything you want. So tell us about your experience of the hustle or bustle on Canal Street. How was that for you when you first started going there?
Just go low, babe.
What?
Just go low.
Okay.
Just go low. Duck down, go low.
Are you talking to me?
I was just gonna tell you what I was gonna say.
It doesn't matter. Just go low.
Oh.
Like if you're gonna try to go that way, go low.
All right.
Go low.
So there, yeah, Canal Street was just the place that we went to when we, as tourists were coming into New York. We didn't know exactly where to find our manufacturers, but Canal Street is where you have everything. So that we just use that street to kind of ask around and ask questions, and then we were able to find some suppliers up on, like I said, in Midtown Manhattan, and then where most of their factories were was in Jersey.
Really?
Okay. So, it's interesting because I can remember back in the day when everybody, I was living up north in the DMV area, then the DC, Maryland, Virginia area, and everybody used to have the white tees out the trunk and the Durags, and then I had a sneaker man as well, and then all my homegirls had a purse guy, and so it was a lot of things going on out of the trunk, and it was a lot of entrepreneurs. So how did you get into? What made you want to get into the whole business with the white tees and the Durags?
It was just there was a kid I was coaching at the YMCA, and he started just driving down to Plattsburgh, and which is like an hour away from Montreal. And he was the one who brought it to my attention. He's like, "Look, there's nobody in Canada who's selling along to you, so I have to go down to the States to get them." So it's really just keeping my ears to the street, and in anything entrepreneurial, you want to try to corner the market or have something that nobody else has. So it was just I saw the opportunity and I went for it.
Okay. Cool. So upon that, man, what do you think is the hardest thing about being an entrepreneur? And when you first decide that you want to be an entrepreneur, what are the levels of stress that people might go through?
I've been entrepreneurial all my life. I started my first company when I was 12 years old. I was burning CDs. I call it Trent Quality Records. So I only had one job in my life, and that was as a pharmaceutical company. And it was after I left LaSalle after getting myself in trouble, and I was trying to, just get on the right path. But for me, entrepreneurship has never been really scary for me, really. I take that with a grain of salt because that's something that's just within me. And I know there's a lot of people, like, for example, like my sister, she would never even think twice of being or doing anything entrepreneurial. So, just like how Jordan was born to play basketball, I was born to be entrepreneurial.
Interesting, man. That's a really, really big mindset to have. Your mindset is huge when it comes to entrepreneurs. So when it comes to that and how you just go for gusto and you don't even think about it twice, because some people are scared of losing money. They're scared and they're not going to have enough finances. They don't really think they'll be, a good boss, because when you're an entrepreneur, you definitely a lot of times have people working up under you. Mm-hmm. And so, and sometimes that's a scary sight for a person. So what made it different for you?
I don't know. Like I said, it's just something that's in me, what is it that, makes somebody go into something that would scare me? I don't know. For me, it was just all I ever knew. It's all that ever made sense to me. I love being able to buy this phone for $10 and be able to sell it for $20. For me, there's no risk in that. To me, it's easy. Where people see there's no risk, going and working a 9-to-5 job. To me, that's the riskiest shit ever. You got to trust into a company that they're going to keep you and maintain you and not fire you. Fuck that. I'm not putting my trust in nobody else but me. That's the riskiest shit ever, is to have a job. Hell fucking no. If I could
really, I've heard in a long time. That's the truth. That is the truth. And when you're an entrepreneur, And I mean, like literally going to a 9 to 5.
I love it. I love it. I love it.
The closest thing you can do is what they call owner operator, at least, to where you can still run your own whatever, but you still have somebody behind you. But when you're going in there and you're punching that clock and they see what time you come in and they see what time you leave and they know how much money they give you, you always know that you're replaceable at that point.
Of course.
Own something. Until you own your own shit. I love it. That is facts.
Yeah. And it's not even the clock in and clock out. There's people who get fired that come in half an hour early and half an hour late, and they'll still fire your ass just because a company will look and be like, okay, we're losing money on like this pillow right now, and how are we going to make that up? Let's make that up by firing 100 people and having the 50 people that's left over work more. Great. And those 100 people are just gone, and they did nothing wrong. They came in on time, they did their jobs, but no, man, to me, the riskiest shit ever is having a job. Because I'm in control, buying my phones, selling my phones, buying my sneakers. Like, how could you stop? Nobody could stop me from selling my long tees or my Durags or whatever it is. I'll always be okay because I'll always be able to be entrepreneurial. I'll always be able to find something to buy, whether it be candles, whether it be water. It could be anything.
You're a hustler.
Yeah.
That's what it is. That. You're just a self-born hustler. And from selling to writing. So going from being a hustler with the thought process of, I can sell corn to a farmer, to putting a pen on pad, the transition, what happened?
That was just me. We were in lockdown, and I've always wanted to write a book. I started like 13 years ago when I was modeling, and it started out kind of like as a self-help book, and then just never really transitioned. But I think ultimately, even from, yes, the pandemic gave me the time and the opportunity to write it. I think it's just like, it really frustrates me when I see people like not living their truth or not, are not doing something. Like, we have one life. I was watching something on the internet the other day where it's like, time is going to pass you by regardless what happens. Whether you sleep, whether you use every minute, it's just going to keep going. And so it irks me to my soul to like see people like wasting their lives away, So I just figure if I just write a book and I just tell my story, that something might resonate with you and you might decide to just live your truth or to change something in your life to, be as happy as I am. So I'm just trying to make the world a better place.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love it. I love it. You've been smiling since we got here. And that's one of the things that, I love, because we didn't have to like kind of surf you out or feel you out or kind of guide you. You just came in with that energetic, networky, lovey family feel. You feel it like bouncing off of you, like nobody's.
Thank you.
And I immediately you gave me the ability to not have to be so professional.
I hate professional.
Like, I didn't have to be like, hi, how are you? And I'm providing.
Oh, that drives me nuts.
Yes.
Because I've never worked in a corporate setting, right? So like anything corporate just irks my soul. Fuck, it just drives me nuts.
I can do that. And sometimes like I have to come here. Even with this being mine, I have to come here. I have to talk like this and be like that and say, okay. And yes, think in my mind, did I use the right adverb? I mean, you didn't give me
like
that
that.
all.
Why?
I mean, because
why?
Some people are like that.
I've worked in corporate, and I've heard people come in there. They do a great job, but they be like, people like, good morning. They be like, betting your ass. Be like, good morning, how are you? People like, betting you. Why the fuck you want to know how my morning is?
Wow.
I've worked with some
rude corporate. Has that ever happened? And
I've worked with some rude ass people, man, and they be like, well, today we need you to do such and such. Man, they be like, just spit it the fuck out so I can get the work done. Like, just rude. Just didn't care. I'm like, if this is who you hire, but you want me to set up straight, hi, how are you? Like, get out of here, bro. Like, so like corporate is crazy, man, because you have, and listen, I just really believe that a lot of corporate people are really on something. And I'm not talking about like on something like drinking water. It's way more potent than water. Like they have some of the craziest shit going on, man. Like they just be yelling in the back off and screaming and just like closing doors. The glass break on doors. They close them doors so hard. Like, what is wrong with this person, man? Like, are you okay? You know,
I think a lot of corporate structures and a lot of corporate settings are because they're too afraid to take any chances, right? Like, look at the pandemic, right, where everybody was working from home.
Yeah.
I've had at the height I had like 150 employees, 10 stores, about 20 people in head office. I've never had an office. I've always let my staff work from home. Why the hell do you got to drive in an hour? And we're in Canada, it's like half the year it's snowing. Why are you doing all that? As long as you do your work, it's a performance-based job. I understand if you work hourly, like the people on the sales floor, you got to come in the store. It's obvious. But we're from home, and I need you to enter in 100 things. What the hell do I care when you enter it, if you're cooking while you're entering? As long as at the end of the week, the 100 things are entered. But that old corporate structured setting has just been in place from the 20s and the 30s, and they're like, hey, Bob, you gonna change it? No, Kevin, we ain't gonna change it. So like that old mentality, they're just too afraid, and it's all they know. Like, why are we working Monday to Friday from 9 to 5? I don't know. Some asshole thought about that 100 years ago, and they were just like, yo, I don't want to fuck up the money, so let's just keep it that way. But it's taking this newer generation who's kind of just like, yo, let's work from our phones, let's work from the tablets. Like, I could care less if you work from the fucking beach. Get your job done, I'm good. Simple as that. So I think that's the problem with corporations, is that they're too structured and they're too afraid to take chances.
Yeah.
Like, I really agree with you, man. And I'm just starting to think I think I need to look back on my family tree, because you might be related to me. Because you know why I say that? Because you bold, you say what you want to say, you say it with aggression, and you mean what you say, and you say what you mean. And so it's like, if you wear your emotions on your sleeve, okay, then take some tissue and wipe them damn tears and go about your business. Like, I love it, man. I love it. You know what I mean? Brother. So man, listen. As Padwani J was saying, from a hustler to a writer, and I'm pretty sure in your book you have some things that you
message up there. Camille says she's loving the book. It's really transparent. Can you see the messages across the screen?
Oh yeah, I see that. Yo,
yeah.
Camille,
So
what up? Yo, what up?
He's doing it big. Like, you have no idea. He's doing it big, you guys. He's way past the Richard scale. If you guys would like to talk to Trent Out Loud, if you guys are out there, I see you guys coming in on screen. Please come in, say something to him, talk to him. He's like the coolest dude ever, and he's willing and ready to talk to you. So, pass the message on, you guys. Let's go. We got an hour and a half, whatever you want to do.
He's just not a cool dude. He's a fucking rock star. For real.
I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna go to your site, and this is what I do with whoever is a entrepreneur that comes on the show. Whoever sells something that comes on the show, I make sure I purchase, because I'm definitely into giving back. For you being here.
Yeah. My daughter found some shoes on your website and was like, Mom, I need those.
Yes.
Those right there.
Yeah, I saw that DM. We're like 5 minutes of showtime. We're like, yo, I gotta get some shoes, Trent. It's like, yo, like my girl ain't playing around, yo. It's like, all right.
So like, for you being here and just giving us what we need and taking us to another level, I definitely will give back, and just to see really how you're moving and how you're grooving. So yeah, by the time later on tonight, I definitely would like you to keep in touch, your PR to keep in touch. I'm purchasing, because I heard it was high commodity on there. How did you realize you hit $1 billion? That's what I want to know. What did that
Well,
feel like when you knew you
what
hit 1 million and you seen it and you're like, "What, dude? I hit 1 million? What?" In the account I'm talking about, like when you knew you were a millionaire, like you knew you were going to be able to provide, and you knew you were a
yeah.
legacy at that point. When you knew that your name is a legacy, how did that feel?
It felt really good.
Did you think about it? Did you process it, or did it not hit
No,
you?
I did. I remember one time that I looked at my bank account and I literally had like $1 million in cash, because there's a difference of having like a company that's worth $1 million or multi-million, but there's a difference of being liquid. Like I just remember looking at, like, I was just like, yo, if everything just stops right now, like I have $1 million in the bank account that is my bank account and I own it all by myself. Um, it was a pivotal moment. It's something I won't forget, especially coming from Jamaican heritage. My grandmother growing up in Manchester, Jamaica, and like that's like there's poverty in Jamaica, and then there's poverty. Like that's where my grandmother
Mhm.
comes from. Like no electricity, zinc roof, like outhouse. There's no government cheese. There's no funding. There's no nothing. Like when you're poor, you're poor, and that's actually how I start out the book. So I didn't look at that money and be like, yo, I need to spend it or I need to do whatever. I just looked at it just like, wow, like what a full circle moment. Like my grandmother coming to Canada with nothing, and coming up to Canada and like not even having shoes, and like the government bringing her up here as a maid to work in homes, and that she doesn't have adequate places to sleep, and they're not treating her right, just from two generations next. And I'm a millionaire, I'm a multimillionaire. So I took it as a moment to just um to identify it, and I just use it to have me just to push forward. I didn't look at it and say, yo, I need to spend it and need to go crazy. I need to buy something with it. It pushed me to be greater and to do more with it.
Okay. Okay. And
But
I
that's
just
because I'm entrepreneurial. Like I look at money and I'm like, yo, how can I make this money make me more money?
right,
And
because what can you contest to this? This conversation was held today.
okay,
Wherever, if you do not know that money has a life of its own, and I
yeah,
said this, you are an ignorant, whatever, because money has a life of its own. Can you please
facts.
be honest and say that if you do not know the life of money, money will leave you and go to wherever it makes more of itself?
Straight, I could attest that 100% facts.
Thank
And
you so much.
Camille, we're gonna get to that dyslexic comment. I see it up on the screen. We're gonna get to that comment. But 1,000%. Like when I was just at the Soho House in Toronto doing speaking on a panel there, and I was talking about how I think one of the questions were like our community, and how we spend our money, and how there's other cultures or communities out there that they get money and they invest it right away. In our community, we feel like we need to floss it. We feel like we need to go out there and buy more Jordans. We need to feel like we need to buy watches. We feel like we need to buy chains to show that we've made it. And that we could trace that back to whatever, like why we are like that. And through like the therapy that I do, cognitive behavior therapy, like let's forget like what got us here and let's concentrate on we're here now and let's make those changes. And that's the reason why I wrote this book, and I'm coming on your show and talking about that. And like we talked earlier, in my mind, I look at money and I'm like, great, I got $1 million in the bank account. I don't look how I could spend that on myself. I look how I could flip that and make more money.
That's me. Come
That's
on.
how you create wealth. Like I don't give a fuck about being rich. Like being rich is easy. I can do that in my sleep. How could I be wealthy? You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right,
Like
right,
Chris Rock said that. He's like, yo, I don't want Shaq's money. I want the guy who's paying Shaq's money. You
right.
know what I mean?
Absolutely. And
So I don't give a
that's
fuck about $1 million, really. So, but we got to change our minds. We got to change our mind state.
and I had a question, and it was so important, right? It was, and it's still important. It's not that it's not important, but as I read this on the screen,
Yes.
I too am here. I too am you. Camille, I'm part of your family. We're all I'm here too. Dyslexia. Talk
Hmm.
about it. Be honest about it. Let us know.
Yeah. So, even till today, I can't read a number out to you that's more than like 5 or 6 digits without like really taking my time and saying it properly. Like a friend of mine was like, "Yo, you're not dyslexic. You could read," and it's like, pardon his ignorance. You know, it doesn't mean you can't read. It doesn't mean that you can't write. It's just that you see words
differently. Yeah.
differently. So my mind can't process as quick as my eyes are seeing it, right? So if I write you a number, I literally like read it. If I'm texting you a number, I read it 3-4 times just to make sure. So it's all about knowing what your inhibitions are, what your disabilities are, and then being able to navigate through that. And why I write it in the book is for reasons like this, for Camille could be wherever she is. I think she's in Dallas or in Texas or wherever she is. And she could, how amazing is that? Like I could write a book and read it and touch somebody 500 miles away and be like, wow, like, yo, Trent had the courage to talk about him being dyslexic. But I also am an author of not one, but 2 books on being dyslexic. So that might make her feel like tomorrow when she goes on her show or whenever her show comes out, I think it's on Thursdays, make sure you check her out. But she might be like, hey, I'm dyslexic. And now it just passes it forward, right? And then now all of a sudden now we've taken the stigma off of dyslexia. And now people like my friend are not going to be like, oh, dyslexia doesn't mean that you could read, right? So that's really seriously, I'm in North Carolina. Sorry, Camille. She's like, hey, it's midnight, okay? But yeah, so yeah, I feel like there's no I like to rip the covers off of everything that has stigma around it, you know. If you have diabetes, you're no problem say shit, I got diabetes, or I got high blood pressure. We talk about that shit, right? It's normal. If you have a health problem, like it's cool. But anytime you have any sort of like mental health disorder or any sort of something like dyslexia, you don't want to talk about it. And I just think that's ridiculous. It's 2022.
Yeah, I think we need to change the narrative. So
exactly.
Talking about it, you know?
Yes.
Absolutely. Because you can always motivate someone else in regards to their disability, where they feel that there's an inability, because the inability is really not there. The inability is an astigmatism in the mind. The inability to do anything is just a thought. And I always tell people that thoughts create reality. And if you ever sit back and you think about something, and if you that's where they came up with the vision board. You know, you put it on a board, you watch it, you look at it, you think about it. The vision board, the pictures are for you to see. So you think about it. Once you think about it enough, what then begins to happen is you begin to create what you're thinking. Why? Because you begin to act out whatever needs to happen for those things to get there. I mean, it's quantum leap, whatever, physics smart, whatever it happens. Okay, for a dyslexic person who can read really well, I can also read really well. But when it comes to, that's because I've programmed my mind to know that 3 is not an 8, and that 5 is not a 2. I've programmed myself to think, and I know that already at the age that I am. When I look at it, I can read it real fast, but I have to go over it 4 or 5 times, which now has put me 5 minutes behind on the test that I could have passed, but I failed because I couldn't keep up. So I get it. And that's amazing to me that you are at your age. I don't know how old you are. I don't know if you're Black women and don't want to tell us, but you're here, you know, and that you're an African-American man, and that you're happy, and that you made it, and coming from where your grandmother came from. And I read those things, and I wanted you to say it, and you did. Just coming from that part, I mean, thinking about it, walking in it as a child, and then here you are today, plush, able to do whatever it is you want to do. But what you choose to do is to continuously make more of it and come up with strategic ideas to make that happen. Is brilliant. Is brilliant. You're not wasting. You're not wasting any time. You're not, you know, and how many people have you helped on the way? Those things that's something that we haven't touched on, and you know, they might be between you and your maker, or you and the planet, or you and the
exactly
for God, to keep you continuously utilizing your mind like that. But as you can think back as a child and how your mind works now, I wonder how many friends can stand next to you, buddies of yours, and can say, we knew that this was going to happen. Because there's certain people in my life that I can look at and say, yeah, she was going to be a teacher. I knew it. Or, yes, she was going to be in politics. I knew it because just how she behaved.
Yeah.
I wonder where you're going to be 5 years from now. I wonder what's going to happen.
It's funny you say that because my friends do say that. They're like, my mother said that when she brought me home from the hospital, and I have an older sister, and she didn't feel like this with her, but she's like, I just feel like I'm gonna see your face somewhere on a billboard. She felt like that, and I don't, like I told you before, like for me, I'm just me. I answer questions as me, and you know what I mean. Like I'm just me, so I don't know it, and that's what was hard. Like that's why my first book was kind of like a how-to book, but I'm horrible at it. Like I can't tell you. All I could do is just tell you what I do, and if you take from it, you take from it. You know what I mean? Like so I'm like just gonna tell you my story. It's just I don't know how else to be. But yes, all my friends told me that I would end up here. They all knew I'd be entrepreneurial. They all knew that I would be in front of a camera. It's just how when I walk into a party, like everybody knows I'm there. I always want to be the life of the party. I always want to be the face. You know, it's 3 seconds left in the game. Give Trent the ball. Like I want to take the last shot. It's just who I am. It's just how I'm built.
Winner. My son is exactly the same, and I hope and I pray to God that my son is here in the next 7 years. But if I could have set him here next to me, he is a replica. The way you talk, the way you think, the way you act,
really,
everything is the same. Yes, he is a trendsetter. If he wears a tie, the whole city has a tie on. I have no idea why, but this is like a mastermind. I don't know. Everything that he does, everybody does it, and he's like the smallest thing out of all his friends. He's like 125. They're like 217 and 250 football players, whatever. But if he puts a suit on and he walks around with a suit on, everybody, I'm like, what is it about this kid? Because he's my kid, so I know that he has this drive. So when anything comes up really big in regards to money, like trading crypto, Bitcoin, anything that comes up that can strategically make his mind go and get it, I'll tell them about it. And then next thing you know, perfect example today, an hour and a half, I'm on the phone with my kid and he's telling me, Mom, guess what? We made $12,000 off the whatever. And
oh, wow. Tell him to call me. I want to invest with him.
He's probably watching. Because I told him already. He's probably already on it. When we're done, I'll look at it, and he'll probably be already all over your IG. His name is Reggie. They have an apparel line also called Born Hungry. You go to www.bornhungry.com.
Look at Mom plugging her son. I love that.
I love that. Absolutely. I'm their biggest fan. They're two brothers actually. That just blow my mind every time. I don't know. It's 5 of them, 5 boys, and they just, I don't know. They're remarkable. It's just amazing to see you be where you are. And just reading your story. I didn't read the book, but reading your story, and seeing your people come in, and everything like that. Everybody here is comfortable. No one's uptight. Ashley rarely talks. She's speaking.
That's why I was like, Ashley, like, do you have any questions for me? I know you got something brewing over there.
Just gonna spill me out, huh?
Yeah.
I talk.
Okay.
I don't have any questions right now, but my mind is brewing with something.
What is your mind brewing with?
A little bit of everything, but hold on.
Do you model? That's probably what she's gonna ask you. Do you model?
Oh, I think he said he did model. I model too. I sing. I do a little bit of everything, but yeah, I have a nonprofit with kids, so I'm pretty sure if they're watching this right now, they're probably, because I'm on the West Coast, they're probably going like cuckoo for bananas right now because I teach an entrepreneurship program within my nonprofit. So,
oh really?
They're always trying to find ways to, get.
You need to bring me down there to talk to those kids.
Yeah,
let's
link up. Definitely, for sure. We can definitely do that. They'll have a lot of fun. I love working with the kids.
Where in the West Coast are you? In LA?
No, I'm actually in Northern California. I'm in Sacramento, but I'm always in LA.
Oh, okay. So you're still in Cali.
Yep.
I came out to Cali for a summer. My aunt, she had she passed away just last year, but she lived in, I think it was East LA. I think it was East LA, and she had a reggae nightclub in Santa Monica. So when I was getting in trouble, and like my friends were getting arrested and things were like, my dad was like, "Yo, I'm sending you to California to live with your aunt for like 4 months." So I spent the summer out there. So Cali's my third home.
And I didn't want to ask you that, but I thought I heard you slip that in there a little bit when you said that. Did you get in trouble at all in your life?
Yeah. I put that in the book.
So were you incarcerated?
I have some charges. I have charges. For me to enter the U.S., I have to have a waiver. It will never leave me. I have a gun charge. And this is all in the book, so it's not like I'm like, telling things that are not out there already. I had as I left that kind of lifestyle, I was like, yo, let me go over to like white collar crime, and then I started doing like some there was some other kind of stuff that I did, and then there was like a whole like anyways, it's difficult to talk about, but I got myself into some shit. But I look at it as like, the system worked for me. I know for a lot of people it doesn't, unfortunately. But when the system works properly, I was able to have my charges, beat some of them not be beat. But it's gotten me to realize of like, that's not the life that I want to live, and that's not the life that I want to have. And I'm better than that, and I'm greater than that. So like now, like in my adult life, when somebody comes and like they might bring something to me that's like a little bit even in the gray zone, I'm like, no. You know what I'm saying? Like, keep that away from me. Like, that's nothing I want to hear about. I don't want to associate with that. So for me, it was like a little bit of a blessing in disguise, because it made me into the man who I am today. So I wouldn't change it for the world. But if at least I could talk about it a little bit now and try to have some younger kids kind of avoid it before they get the charges and before they get that criminal record. But even if you do, that it doesn't mean that things are over for you. It doesn't mean that that's where it stops. Like I said, we're 2022. There's a lot of people that will take chances and look past your past. So don't let that stop you for people who have gotten themselves in trouble.
So, Trent, I just want to piggyback off what a lot of people don't want to talk about, and especially a lot of people in our culture don't want to really talk about how, as a black man growing up in society, you was never allowed to talk about mental health. You was never allowed to cry. You was never allowed to have feelings. It was like, cause if you grew up around really hard-nosed, tough black men, you had no time to cry, because they grew up in a world where you had to be strong, you had to be forceful, you had to be aggressive all the time. Because if you wasn't, then you was gonna get taken advantage of. So I hear when people say about the mental health, but when it comes to especially being a black man walking on American soil, that's a whole different beast in itself. So if you can chime in on the mental health of a black man, and just give them some insight on what we go through, not externally, but internally.
When I was a kid, if I cried, my dad would say, "Oh, you want to cry? Okay, I'll give you something to cry about." Like,
right.
My mom too. Look.
Right? Exactly. So it was that's in our culture. You got to be toughen up. Boys don't cry, which is fucking ridiculous, dude. Like, I cry. And there's nothing fucking wrong with that at all.
Nothing wrong.
It's actually healthy.
Exactly. God gave you that ability to be able to cry, and if I feel like crying, I'm gonna fucking cry, and I don't give a shit about it. And from the mental health side of it, that's what book 2 really is about dealing with my mental health. I am now an advocate of therapy. I was when things were going bad for me and I was losing a lot of money. I knew about therapy and I went to therapy, but I was in such a dark place that I was like, he was like, oh, maybe you should really kind of like rethink some things that you're doing. And then he gave me a diagnosis of like, okay, you might be going through like hypomanic episodes or maybe some manic episodes, which is attributed to bipolar. And I was like, no, there's nothing wrong with me. I'm fine. Just there's a lot of stress, with my companies. I'm losing a lot of money right now. And I decided to quit going to therapy. And I decided to self-medicate myself with drinking and smoking. I think that's what a lot of people do. People don't realize it. It was like, yo, shit's rough. I had a rough week. I'm going to go out and get drunk. Like, you're self-medicating yourself. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So, through the pandemic, and that's what book three will be about. Book three will be about how the pandemic saved my life. I was not able to go out. I was not able to lose myself. I wasn't able to travel. I wasn't able to forget about my sorrows. And I was stuck in my house, forced to look within me. And it's been the best time in my life being able to look within me. And I went back to therapy. I decided to keep on going weekly. And I got my diagnosis of being bipolar. I got a second opinion from a psychotherapist. They suggested that but they told me that I can go on medication if I wanted to. But I decided to stay just going to therapy weekly instead of going on medication. But I think therapy and mental health is normal. Like I said, me being bipolar is no different from you saying that you have diabetes, or somebody saying that they have like insomnia, or what's that when you can't drink milk?
Lactose intolerant.
Lactose intolerant.
Lactose intolerant. Like, I'm lactose. You joke about it, but it's all it is saying is that your stomach can't digest dairy, and that's okay. Well, me being bipolar, there's certain things that my brain does that your brain doesn't do, or dyslexia. It just means that. So we just need to rip the whole, like, we're all human and our minds all think different ways. And it's a beautiful thing when you look at it, that we have these technologies and we have this software and we have all of these things that we can like explore and understand who we are. Hundreds of years ago, you didn't have that. People just thought, yo, you're crazy, So I'm a big mental health advocate. I think everybody should go to therapy. Everybody has some sort of anxiety, some sort of depression, some sort of issue that you're dealing with. And if you're not human. So I won't accept that. If you broke your leg today, you go to a doctor. So I would suggest everybody out there to find a therapy that works for you. There's different therapies out there. I do cognitive behavior therapy personally, but there's a lot of different therapies out there, and I'm a very big mental health advocate.
Okay, great. Now, this is what I want to pinpoint. So, I had some homeboys I was talking to some years back, and I said, man, maybe you should go to therapy.
Yeah.
Do you know what he said to me, Jacob? I'm a black man on American soil, and do I think therapy could help me? He said, maybe it could, but I would rather have a therapist that has walked somewhat in my shoes, because I feel like they maybe could understand me better.
I get that.
And I was like, well, search for one, find one. And he did.
Yeah.
And he felt so much better, because he didn't want to go to the white lady sipping her coffee and reading the USA Today and well, you're going to do this. Well, you should try it this way, John. And he wanted to go to the older black dude that been a therapist for about 16, 17 years. They got his cigars in the drawer, drinking his hot, telling him to get his shit together. Like, I'm a black man. I know what it's like. Snap out the shit and get the shit together. There's nothing wrong with going to therapy. This is going to help you. So a lot of our black guys, especially our black men who have been to Iraq or Desert Storm or any place in the war, especially when they was on the streets, they already had PTSD. So, and now they go to war, they got even a more severe case. So they want to talk to a therapist that look like them, if that makes sense to you.
Yeah. Listen, for me, that hasn't been my experience. I have always found therapists that I have enjoyed working with, but I think what I concentrated more on was the kind of therapy I'm going to. So
Right.
for
Mhm.
me, cognitive behavior therapy works best for me because it's like how you guys know me for an hour. Like you said, I'm upfront, I'm right, I'm just going to talk
You're
like how
direct.
I'm very direct. I want to get to the point and no bullshit. That's cognitive behavior therapy. There's different type of therapy. There's psychotherapy. There's this. There's life coaches. Whatever. There's a therapy where you sit down on the couch. You go into your childhood. Oh, my father didn't like me growing up. He bought my sister a T-shirt. He didn't buy me anything, and that's why I'm depressed right now. That therapy can work for some people, but I think people are so caught up in the therapist, and I think maybe they should try to concentrate more on the kind of therapy that they're
Right.
looking into, and then I think the therapist won't be as important. Does that make
That makes
sense?
sense. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you for that. Appreciate that.
No problem, brother.
Yeah, absolutely. It makes a whole lot of sense. I am definitely an advocate of therapy. Going, finding one.
Does
Um,
anybody here go to therapy?
I do.
Anybody on this call? You do?
I do. I go to therapy twice a week.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I go to therapy on Wednesday and Saturday. I had a traumatic episode in my life that I thought that I could handle. Um, but my body and mind obviously couldn't. I woke up one day and I didn't know my name was Nicole. I had a nervous breakdown after my father
Wow.
passed away. And a lot of my life prior to now, I don't remember. Prior, it was 13 years ago, 14 years ago. I don't remember a lot of things. Go to my hometown. I need a GPS because I don't remember how to navigate and how to get to certain places or certain things. It took my best friend to make me remember things. And as I was remembering things, and when I did start remembering things, I would be like, oh, because I mean, obviously it was traumatic. So I definitely agree with picking the right therapist, picking the right psychologist, picking the right person to talk to because it does make a difference. I do not medicate. I do not. I self-medicated prior to, don't know. I did.
We all self-medicated, have no clue.
That's honesty. I would be lying if I didn't. Everyone on here and every 5,000 friends I have who know me would be like, she's lying. So to avoid that part, we're going to keep it all the way real on Exquisite. Everything isn't always pretty. But I don't medicate at all. I also have lupus, which causes other things to happen, like physical pain and body aches and cramps and stiffness and inability to deal with the sun when the sun comes out in the summertime, and it sores on your skin and your hair falls out and all these other things. So to talk to a therapist for me is really, really good. I've been with the same people, and it's a blessing, for 13 years because of this wonderful thing called internet, wonderful thing called messenger, wonderful thing called computer. I have been able to keep the same people, so I don't have to go over. Well, I did it at first. You go over and over and over, whatever, until you find that right person. But they text me on Tuesday and say, don't forget about me tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Or do you have anything you need to do and you need to come back later? Because it's necessary. Because if I don't talk to somebody on Wednesday, by Saturday, I'm erratic. And I am going crazy. Not crazy necessarily, like really like crazy, but crazy where I need to vent to someone and tell them about the hard time of the week that I may feel like is hard. They may think it's like mediocre, but for me, it was stressful.
I feel you.
Hard. So, I mean, yeah, I'm pretty honest about that. And I don't think anything is wrong with it. Some people do. I feel like if you can talk to someone and tell them your deepest, darkest secrets, and you don't have to worry about them going anywhere, why not?
That's beautiful, no?
Yeah.
Isn't that beautiful?
Great. Yeah, I think it's
And
great.
why do we gotta hide it? We're all humans. We all go through the same shit. There's nothing that I go through that you haven't gone through. It might be on different levels, on different spectrums in different countries, but it's all the same thing. We're all human beings, you know?
Right.
All right, Ashley, I shared, Nicole shared, you go ahead, share with us.
Right, tell something.
Miss Quiet. And you're next, King.
So with me, how we've been talking about like therapy and stuff like that, I use it as a
So you do go.
Huh?
You do go.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
perfect. Okay.
I use it as a self-care for myself, you know. It's something that I would suggest anybody to do, to be honest, because it definitely does help, and especially if you feel like it's kind of like with me talking with my kids, you know. I always tell them, yeah, you may not be comfortable with talking to your parents, or, you know, but you may be comfortable with talking to me about certain things, you know. So I want to be able to basically, as they say, practice what you preach. With my kids, you know, tell them to use their voice. Why tell them to use their voice, but then I'm not doing it too at the same time? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So it's just like, how are you telling them to do something, but then you're not doing it yourself? So I'm always telling my kids, you know, your voice that's your weapon. Use it. Speak. You know, it doesn't matter if it's not with your parents, if it's not with your teacher, if it's with the counselor at the school, whoever you feel most comfortable with, be able to let it out. Because sometimes when you hold it in, you build up a lot of anger. You know, you act out. Like you said, like, you know, you have other copanisms, you know, you were drinking, or you were going out, you were doing this, you were doing all these different things. Or like with the kids, they can be going out, they can be fighting kids at school, they can be bullying kids at school, they can be doing a whole lot of things. So just basically being able to, you know, use therapy or to someone as an outlet to be able to have that self-care for yourself, to make you better, you know, for yourself. So
for you, therapy is where you could talk. Therapy is where you could let everything out that you sometimes daily keep in.
Yeah. Because if not, I'm like a ticking time bomb, and I don't want to be like that. So
that's where you explode.
Yeah, I explode everything there. You know, I don't want to be a ticking time bomb. I don't want to be going off on people that, you know, they're like, well, dang, what's going on with her? No, so I'm in therapy.
That's a good lesson. You know, there's a lot of people who are like, oh my gosh, she's so quiet. Oh, she's this or she's that, whatever. And it's like, you should never judge somebody from the outside. Like, you never know what somebody's going through inside mentally. You know what I mean?
I used to get that all the time in school too. Like, because I was quiet. I'm an observer. So I look, I pay attention to everything. Like, so that's just me. So like in high school, I used to get girls like, why you keep staring at me? And and I'm like, it has nothing to do with you. I'm just like,
there's always something going on. Yeah, no,
my own little head. I'm just thinking about different things, and then like I'll get it back to them. Where they were like, you know, you looking at me and all this other kind of stuff. I'm like, because you're beautiful. Like, I
just to shut them up, right?
Because you're beautiful, you know. And they're like, oh, okay, you know. Now they feel a little stupid because now they're like, oh, okay, she wasn't, you know, being weird or being creepy, you know, whatever. But
That word weird. That word.
Yeah.
That word. I changed it into being extraordinary. Extraordinary. And I was always the weird one. She's weird, or I was that different kid or that whatever. And it's not that, I'm just extraordinary. And as I began to look at it being, as I was extraordinary, I began to do extraordinary things that they don't do. Like get on TV and have shows and have money. Stuff like that. So that, for the people who never thought, you know, the weird person, just think about it. The weird person in school, they're usually the ones that are the most brilliant, or the ones that do something, you know, later. And you want to befriend them, maybe, instead of like treating them like an outcast and making them feel really uncomfortable. I'm really a big advocate, an activist against bullying and stuff like that, because I was done like that, and you never know what might happen later on. Now you might need a therapist or something. Jacob
King, what's up?
Well, I have never been to see a therapist, so I will tell you my therapeutic is different. I do what we call music therapeutic sessions. And
Okay.
so I started doing it for myself some years ago, where I do it about 3 times a week. And it went over into the kids. And so when young girls was in the sex trafficking realm and they didn't want to speak about their experiences, so I would ask them what type of music they desire to listen to. And I would use the music therapeutic sessions to get them to talk and open up. And it actually worked, as well as the young men who fathers was absent, or the young women who feel like they never had a nurturing mother's love. So the music therapeutic sessions work for me. And actually, I have a couple of friends that's therapists, and I explained to them how to break it down. And they was like, well, name me a song, Jacob, let you listen to. I say, so, you know, when Marvin Gaye say, make me want to throw up my hands. I said, so you got to think about it. If you're this fed up, so you just want to throw up your hands and just drop on your knees, you know, just picture you in that writing session with him. And put your emotions and your mental and your spiritual aspect into it. And then you understand what he felt when he wrote the song. And so,
Very cool.
So they use that to reach a lot of their younger clients. And this is music therapeutic sessions with yours truly, King Jacob.
So
Yeah,
sorry, you go ahead, Ashley. Go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say I do something like that with the kids with my nonprofit. We have a beat making and songwriting for mental health. So
It's cool.
it again getting them to use their voice. So I do love the music aspect because I do sing, I do write. So I'm always trying to pour into them just to, you know, even if it's just writing for yourself in a journal. But
Right.
whatever way makes it good for you to, you know, feel more comfortable. Just go ahead and do it. Whatever you love, just do that.
Is this music therapy? Is this something that you created, or is this something that is known? That's something
Actually, it's something my father created.
Okay.
When
So it's not a
I grew up
kind
in
of
the church.
therapy. It's something that you created.
I grew up in the church, right? And so I would tell him about issue I was having at school or issue I was having with a friend. He would say, man, just go listen to some music. It's therapeutic. And I'm gonna tell you what song to listen to. So he would have me listen to somebody like a Andre Crouch or somebody like a Reverend James Cleveland, or you know, or somebody like the Williams brother. And he said, just picture in your mind how they felt when they created the song. Just close the door, cut the lights off.
Yeah.
And just listen.
Just listen.
And so that's just how it did for me.
I never even realized that. I mean, I'm the same way. Like, I love music. I have you know, speakers, and my whole house is all set up. Like, my first love is music. Like, forget about entrepreneurialism and sneakers. Like, I managed music artists for like 8 or 9 years. So I love music, and it's so therapeutic, right? And it could just take you places, and you know, and deal with things. And everybody knows, like, you know, you have your breakup music and your makeup music, and you know, music is the soundtrack of our life. So, but now that like that was your entry level into some sort of therapy, do you think that you may one day decide to maybe go to see an actual therapist and take it to a next level?
I will, but on one condition. They got to have some type of music playing in the background while we're talking.
Okay. Hey, you know what's amazing about therapy, my brother? It's your time. You could do whatever you want with it. That's your 50 minutes or your hour. You want to sit down there and just stare at the person? Do it. You want to play whatever music you want to play? No therapist is not going to tell you not to do anything. But he's going to ask you, like, why do you? And I think actually you should start out like that. Like, hey, I want you to listen to this song with me. Okay. And then it's like the music therapy that you're doing in your head, you'll see that once you express that to a therapist who's trained to understand what you're feeling from that therapy, you're going to be able to dig and dive deeper into the music therapy that you're doing. So I'm just trying to just let you know, like, you're at the tip of the iceberg. when you have a professional by your side, he can open your mind up to even your own music therapy. I'm not trying to tell you to go to therapy so that you
Right.
stop doing music therapy. He or she will show you how to tap into whatever it is that you love and how to go even deeper in it. That's the beauty of therapy. You're in control of your sessions. She's not going to say,
Right.
well, I want to talk about your father. No, you want to talk about music? Let's talk about music all day. It's
Right.
amazing. Therapy is the best drug. People are like, oh, you know, you like smoking weed, you feel like this or whatever. Therapy, it's stronger than any fucking drug you could ever think of. Just trust me, go to 3 sessions and then call me and be like, yo, Trent, I don't know how I didn't do this before, man.
I got you. I don't have, but see, the thing about me, I don't have a problem with it, man, because I counsel and talk to people all day, every day myself.
Of course.
So, like, I don't have a problem with stimulating my mind or evolving into a new thought process, or or I don't even have a problem because I feel how my mind is set up. I can learn a lot from the therapist, and they can learn a lot from me too.
Exactly. And the difference is they were professional, right? Like we talked about
Right.
breaking your leg. Like there's a, like I could go and see my homie and he could put a splint and it might, like, he could get me walking again. But if I go to the hospital, they're going to put me in a cast and it's going to be stronger. It's going to be better, right? So it's like, I could help and counsel my friend. But when you go to a therapist that they've gone through 10 years of schooling and they really know how to get into your neurons of your brain and to give you things to think about, like you'll unleash a utopia of imagination and depth that you've never entered before. It's the most beautiful fucking thing on the planet, dude.
Trent, I'm just it goes back to my grandmother. Now, when we was young, right, my grandmother would have what we call bedroom sessions, right? And the bedroom sessions where she get all her grandchildren one by one, just her and the grandchild one-on-one, and they would talk for hours.
Yeah.
And so as you talk about it, man, I'm like, man, at a young age, this had to be therapy because she did all us like that. And whatever was disclosed in that conversation, nobody ever knew about it but her and that particular grandchild.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So which is I think is dope. But no, ain't nothing wrong with therapy, man. Like I think it's dope. I think, I was listening to Charlamagne the God say that him and his family goes to therapy every week, and they have been doing so for the last 5 years. So
exactly. Yeah, he goes every Friday.
Yeah, so I mean, I don't think nothing wrong with it, but I think that it has to be something like Trent's therapy sessions. And the reason why I say this, Trent, I'm gonna give you some jewels now. You know what I mean?
All right, let's go.
So, how you was able to change the narrative, right? Coming your grandparents coming from Jamaica and coming here real poor, and people don't know, man. When you're a person that's been in poverty for a long time, that can be a mental thing that affects you. A lot of people
it's traumatic.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. Like so the therapy session with the level of your expertise in writing and stuff like that, like this could really, really, really help somebody. And I'm not just talking about just sitting there talking to them. I'm talking about, as far as when it comes with the youth, because the youth to look up to somebody that's successful like you. And so this really could evolve into something that is global, for real, for real. Because you ain't just a regular dude, for real, for real.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And that's really why I wrote the book. That's why even Camille was like, yo, I'm reading the book. It's so easy to read. I wrote the book for the kids that Ashley teaching. Like, how old are the kids that you teach, Ashley?
I have kids as young as 2. So and ranging all the way
do you
up.
have teens? You have teens, right?
Yeah.
So that's really who I wrote the book for. Like, I didn't read growing up. Like, it was a girlfriend of mine that took me to my first bookstore, and she was like, yo, like, we're not gonna go to the club, we're gonna read. And I just got into reading late in life. But even now, like, as I'm an avid reader, I got Barack Obama's book. It's 700 pages, and I read one page and I'm lost, and I gotta like go back and I'm like, what the hell did I just read? My book is written in a colloquial style writing, which is a writing format that, like, I'm speaking to you. I have hashtags. I write LOL. I wrote, yo, I don't give a fuck. Like I literally, the book is written as exactly like how I'm speaking to you, and it's written in a way for a first-time reader or somebody who's not an avid reader can read it and digest the things that I'm saying to them. So I purposely did that. I could have read a book. I could have written a book that was super
Like
advanced
everybody
or
else.
had all yeah, that all these big words, but I purposely didn't do that. Like I purposely wrote the book, like you were saying, Jacob, so that I could get to the people in the world that the people are not necessarily thinking about. You know what I'm saying? Like like our people, the minorities, or the people who are not normally going to pick up a book, or it might be the first time that they're picking up a word. And that's how I can affect change. And that's how I could, in my grandmother's memory of her coming over to this country and how we could change the narrative and touch people around the world. So I hope what you're saying is true, that this book really catches on and the younger demographic could read it and take what they want from it. Don't have to follow in my blueprint, because I made a lot of fucking mistakes. But you take a couple of little things here and there, and we could change the narrative of our culture, and everybody could be wealthy and
But
pay
I
Shaq.
Right.
Break the generational curses. You
So,
can't have
so,
generational
how
wealth.
we can reach you. Like,
so,
what can we do? Go to www.trentoutloud.com or
Hold
before
on,
you,
King had a question. Go ahead, King.
yeah. So Trent, I
Mm.
heard you say in your book they don't have to follow your footsteps and make mistakes. This is what I'm gonna tell you, my brother. I'm gonna tell you what my granny told me back in the day, man.
Tell
She
me.
said, "Baby boy, there ain't mistakes. There's lessons in your blessings."
Facts.
For real, for real.
I know. I would never change
But,
them.
yeah,
Any of
for
them.
real. Lessons in them blessings, man. And so,
Exactly.
and those blessings come to teachings for people that's coming up behind you, man. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah,
Exactly.
those are nuggets, as Nicole say, nuggets and jewels that we drop. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So
Yes.
I just keep dropping those jewels. But back to you, Nicole.
Yeah. Go ahead, Nicole.
no, I was just wondering,
Hmm.
where can we find you? Like if I just wanted to use any one of these other laptops, just go in there and see,
So
where can I go?
you can find me on Instagram at Trent Out Loud. You can also follow the store if you would like at Exclucity, and you can find my books available on Amazon. It's on Amazon Prime. And you order it, it'll be at your doorstep the next day. Shout out to Jeff Bezos.
Okay, perfect. Jeff Bezos, I got that. Jeff Bezos. I wanna look that person up and see let's see who he is. So around is your book expensive or is it affordable or like around 20
Twen-
$30?
$25.
Oh, that's
Okay.
affordable.
Look at that
That's
too.
affordable. That's
Not
really,
bad.
really good.
Yeah.
Not
Yeah,
bad.
me too. Absolutely, absolutely. And when you go to, I know you speak to children. You love to speak to people in regards to entrepreneurship.
Hmm.
Um, do you keep in the junior high or high school, or do you go like to HBCUs or?
Doesn't matter. Everywhere. I want to talk to 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 60 years old. I want to talk to everybody. I want to talk to everybody who wants to hear me speak to them.
Okay, okay,
But
okay.
my core, like I tell everybody with entrepreneurship, right? You always have, whatever you're doing, you always have to set your model and your brand to your core, right? Like Walmart, they have their core customer. They're going after a certain demographic. There's multimillionaires who shop at Walmart, but that's not who Walmart is set up for. Then there's Louis Vuitton, who they're going after the multimillionaires. You got some broke people who are saving up 2 paychecks to come and buy a Louis belt, but you have to like go after your core market. So my core demographic for my books are the young up and coming entrepreneurs, the teenager to the younger 25-year-old. But there's still some 40-year-olds or 50-year-olds who are like, yo, I want to start out on this path of entrepreneurship, or I want to make a change in my life. So I want to talk to them and try to help them along the way too.
It's
Yeah,
funny you say that because Steve Jobs ain't become a multi-millionaire till he was 55 years old. So, of course, 40 and 50 years old want your books.
Exactly. Sam
and,
Walton only started Walmart at 44 years old.
mm.
Right. So,
Mhm.
And so, how do you feel about just the fact? How do you feel about I know you feel like everyone should remain teachable because just by the way you speak and the way you've presented yourself. But how would you say um, to a strong week, hard time when you were going through your hard times and you did all those things outside of everything and the therapist and talking to everyone, you and your mother, you haven't spoken much in regards to you and your mother. You and your mother have a really good relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so
We're super tight.
that's what I wanted to hear.
Okay.
In regards to you and your mother, and you guys
Yeah.
are super tight. Because you said I am myself. To me, I'm just myself. Does
Mm-hmm.
everybody in your family just feel like you yourself, or did anyone ever start treating you different?
Nobody really in my family gives a crap of my success or not success. I'm like the little brother and the little cousin, and they really couldn't give a shit of what I buy or what I have. They're just like, listen, Trent, shut up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but I love it because
That's
they
what I
keep me
wondered.
super grounded. You know, they keep me super grounded. They keep me really, really in check. Right? I'm the baby of the family, and that's never gonna change. You know, but yeah, I'm super close to my mom. She drove me to the airport today. As you guys know, I could very well pay my Uber or a taxi there or whatever, but I try to spend as much time as I can with my mom and try to keep her close to me and my family as much as I can.
And that was a question that I usually ask people early off, but I didn't get to. But I just wondered because I heard you shot your mom out there just a little bit, but I wanted to know
Yeah. No,
you
that's
a,
my girl, man.
were
My
you a
girl.
mama's boy? I just want to know. Yeah.
Well, see, I look. I was gonna write it in the book that I was a mama's boy, and then I googled it. If you Google what a mama's boy is, it's not a healthy thing. A mama's boy is a man who is dependent on his mother. That he has to get his mother's approval if he's dating a girl, and he can't get out the house, and he's dependent on her. That is not at all how I am. I love my mother to the core of who she is.
Hold up, bro.
Jacob, Google it.
Hold up, man. Like, it may be that definition, but that whole definition don't hold weight to what's in my mindset.
Well, okay. Well, words are powerful. Like I like to Google words, so I look at the definition.
Mm-hmm.
I just got this thing, man, cause I got a friend. I got a lot of friends who ain't had a relationship with their mom in 20 years. I know people. I know people who grandmama raised them, and they call their mama by their first name.
Yeah.
So you know, call me mama's boy, whatever, man. I love mine. You know what I mean? To go to the moon and back. And we'll fight your ass about her for sure.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Okay,
So
look, I just Googled this right now. Okay, the term "mama's boy" is often used as slang to describe a man who has an unhealthy dependency on his mother well into adulthood when he is expected to be independent and self-reliant. That is the definition.
So what do you think about that, though? What do you think about that? Knowing how people are close to their mom, like, do you think that's valid? Because a lot of times, because you're a mama boy, don't mean that you're just totally dependent on her. That's just you're just a mama's boy. Just like my sister is.
I thought that just meant that you loved your mother a lot. I never thought that it meant what you just said. But I'm big on looking things up too because I hate to be nice.
So we're arguing the same thing right now.
Right.
So I used to think that I was a mama's boy because I love my mother. Like you said, you love your mother, you care for her. So I'm a mama's boy. But then, like Nicole's saying, it's like if you want to be technical and read the definition of what a mama's boy is, because now we're arguing about what the definition of a mama's boy is. And the Webster dictionary, I can't argue with Webster. He's saying the definition is having an unhealthy dependency on your mother, then I am no longer a mama's boy. I love my mother, but I'm not a mama's boy. Until we change the definition of it.
So I'm just asking you, a lot of times, you know, what we feel just like me, myself, man, for me, like, I don't see how somebody could marry somebody that their mother don't like. I don't see that.
Can you marry somebody your mothers don't like? I think if you're marrying somebody that your mother doesn't like, I don't think that's a you or your wife problem. I think that's your mother problem. My mother would never not like somebody who I was marrying because she's gonna love me and trust my decision. That my mom personally.
That's true. That's true. But what I'm saying, I have seen situations where the mama just didn't like the person that the dude or the girl was marrying. You know, the dude or the chick was married. They just didn't care for him, because with older people, you have to be very careful with the things you do and the things you say. You know, like they're not like one of your friends. They look at things in a total different light.
For sure.
So you definitely have to be very careful. So you know,
so you wouldn't marry a girl that your mother didn't like.
It's gonna raise a red flag with me, bro. You know, because I know my mother, and I know that, you know, if my mama don't like you, something really bad wrong with you, because she ain't that way.
Exactly.
I mean, even if you're dating them for a long time and then your mother liked them in the beginning, and then something happened and then your mother just stopped liking them because you guys had an argument or something and you told your mother about it, and then your mom just stopped liking her, you wouldn't date her anymore?
I don't say that, because, you know, I mean, that's different, but just like,
your mom don't like her. At the end of the day, regardless of the fact now she doesn't like her because she said something
no,
bad.
Nicole, you can't throw that scenario in there. I'm talking about I'm talking about, man, you got certain situations where somebody can come off their lip wrong and be like,
it's different.
and like, you know, like it's like when you got it kosher, because you the son and you the daughter of that woman, and they be like, okay, you know what I mean, I'm gonna give this person a chance, but they just come off their mouth wrong, man, and just say something that they shouldn't say. If you got old school parents, that's like to the point of no return. No.
I'm just I'm a firm believer in, if that is even the case, you shouldn't be dating them. But I mean, once that happens, that would be an ongoing situation. Like a person who's disrespectful to someone's parent or disrespectful to someone, just that's just like, I don't know. That's just something that I wouldn't even be bothered with, period. Like I
can tell you,
like, who brings someone to their home and I'm dating you, we're in love, or I like you a whole lot or whatever, and you meet my mom and you say something flip. Where does that? I don't know. Like, that's
Trent. I can say this for you, Trent. I'm older. I'm over 40. So what's disrespectful to me is definitely not disrespectful to the young people. I promise you that.
Facts. I feel you.
That's true. That's true.
I think the mama thing, I think it really just has to deal with context, right? Like, if, like you said, if you're bringing, first, I just think there's nobody that could tell you who you should be with or not, because
that's true. That's true.
It's only you and them who are in that room together. Like, no one's gonna know. Like, I don't know Ashley's man. Like, I might meet him and he might rub me the wrong way. Sorry, man or woman. Sorry, or you know, like. No, I know, but it's 2022. You can't just assume somebody's with a man. Okay,
I know what you meant. You're
gonna go viral.
That's
like,
facts, bro.
Trent Out Loud. Trent Out Loud is gender not equality. Like, no, I don't need that in my life. But so like, I could maybe meet Ashley's man and be like, he just rubbed me the wrong way. And just as a friend, I could be like, hey, Ashley, you know what? Like, he kind of did this, or I saw him do this, or I saw him whatever. Like, I could more just like suggest things, but it's like, Ashley's the one who's literally spending 8, 9 hours, 10 hours a day with him. Like, I can't tell her who to be with. So I don't think it's my mother, father, or family's place to tell you who you could be with, you know, of like, just because what would make my mother unhappy might make me happy, you know? So, but I do understand what you're saying, though. I would want my mother to love the woman who I am with. And I would be very concerned. I would be very concerned, because I'm like, oh, my mama doesn't like you. I would really look into that. I would really dissect that. Like, what am I missing here?
And then, bro, it makes you want to investigate. Like, let me see who I know that she knows, or like, so let me see. And he be like, shit, man, she my ex. My mom ain't like her ass neither. Whoa,
it would make me question it. Yeah,
you know what I mean?
You got to do your due diligence. But then after, if I do my due diligence and I still love her and be like, yo, mama, I love her. I would expect my mother to support me, come to that wedding, and love our children.
And I'm pretty sure mine would, man, because, you know, I got the type of mama, as long as her children are happy, she happy. But, you know, but she'll be looking at the heifer out the corner of her eye, though. Believe that. Believe that, man.
The heifer, though.
And it's funny that you are very mind driven as far as words. I'm a very wordy person, and I'm very mindful. I definitely like I said earlier, I think thoughts create reality, and I definitely think that we speak things into existence. So I want to be mindful of what I say when I say it. So when you hear me talking and I'm hesitating because this here is going just as fast as my mouth. So I'm trying to control things.
I'm the same way.
When you read that, it's funny because we had a debate earlier about the word nice, and I've been told that I'm really nice, or I'm really kind-hearted, or I'm really sweet, and they get mad, or well, they don't get mad, but they wonder why I debate that or why I don't want to be that. Can you please, you have that phone in your hand, please look up the word nice and tell us what the word nice is.
I was doing it while you were talking before you even asked me.
It's very funny. It's very funny. Do not call it nice.
Pleasant, agreeable, and satisfactory.
No. That's
fine and suitable.
No, that's the word in the Webster's dictionary. But if we go to an ethology dictionary, the word nice is to be stupid. In the 18th century,
which is not true at all.
In the 18th,
I did not see that.
That's not true at all.
In the 18th century, the word nice means stupid, because when you're nice, you allow stupid things to happen to you. You allow dumb things to happen to you. I do have it here.
Wow, she's right.
I am very right because I am.
Wow, the origin is Latin, and it was necessire is not know, and then Latin nucleus, it was ignorant, and then Old French became nice, which is stupid. Middle English, old fashioned from Latin something, it's ignorant, to not know.
And I'm gonna still debate this. That depends on what part of the country you into.
Yeah, but like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah. So I'm
on a technicality, but it's a technicality that was 400 years ago. We are in 2022. So
right. Okay. So the technicality is the time. But let me tell you about the tech. Why it's a technicality because it's the time. But where the technicality doesn't lie at is why people say that. Why do people say you too nice? Because usually you tolerated something that you have no business tolerating, right?
Usually people say
you're dumb. That's what that means. So
no, that's not what that means. Usually people say, well, what they said to you and you was passive about it, I wouldn't have tucked that shit. That's all they saying.
What does that mean? That
doesn't mean nothing, man. Because I can tell you this. I can tell you this. I got plenty of people in my family that's passive about situations, but they'll slap the shit at you too. Like facts.
That like means facts. That you're tolerating something that the average person or whoever wouldn't tolerate.
And it's a lot of people like that. They just not confrontational people.
That doesn't mean that either.
They just not confrontational people. So they'll let some shit slide that somebody that's aggressive would normally let slide.
Believe that.
You know what I mean?
You
know what I'm saying?
Therapy.
So, you know what I mean?
Makes you a better person.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
You guys are fun.
Therapy makes you a better person.
I mean, I'm just saying, man. You know, cause
everyday thing. Trent.
I got.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So do you guys work together, or you guys just have
these are my employees, Trent?
Really?
Yes.
Wow, that's hilarious.
We
at
all
the PR agency.
Yes, everyone here works at Exquisite PR. I'm the CEO. He is the COO, and she is the Media Blast. And guess what? We use this company, and we work it around the United States. So I'm in the central parts of the state. He's in the western parts of the state. She's in the eastern parts of the United States. And we have someone else that lives and works out of Quebec. And he's between Quebec and Australia, so that we're able to take our clients.
Montreal, Quebec?
Yes.
Like, that's where I'm from, like Montreal. Really?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy. Shout out Quebec. What's up?
Yes, Brian. What's up, Brian? So that's how we're able to take our people international. And when he goes to Australia, so on and so forth. And that's how we're able to cover the United States. We have the East Coast, West Coast, and the Central States. So everything is a sector. So we're hitting all areas.
And how often do you do this show?
Every Thursday.
Just every Thursday, you guys just like pick a guest, come on, and you guys just
And
like
go crazy.
wild out and go crazy.
Yeah.
That is hilarious, man.
Yes.
That is
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah.
Yes.
Very, very
So,
cool.
you know, we get the part where, you know, you get a little more professional. I mean, we're late night conversations, so we want people to be comfortable. But
Yeah, it's fun.
you know, hopefully, really, really soon, we'll, you know, get it to the point where we get the studio, get the mics, get the lights, get everything going, and then, you know, we'll have that perfect on the couch with Pavani J conversation.
Well, I hope you guys have me back on the show when that happens. I don't even need that though. Like this whole
No,
setup
that I
is
don't.
fine
This
with
is
me,
now.
but-
This is your time to shine right now. You told us.
Yeah.
At the end of the
You
show,
know what, man?
and
This
you've
is
been here
raw.
for a whole extra 30 minutes.
This is raw. This is raw. It's gutter. It's uncut.
Raw and
Exactly.
You know
uncut.
what I
Like
mean?
it's going down on Exquisite
You know.
Conversation.
Exactly.
You
Exactly.
gotta
This
come to
I don't-
winding. You
I don't-
gotta come to winding down. That's the place to be. Winding down on Sunday, late night conversation. It's a little bit earlier, but it goes down on winding down.
I actually
and not
don't
just
think you should
us.
change your format. I think you should keep the format like this. Super
Really?
gangster. Yeah, it's fucking gangster. It's dope.
It's so embarrassing.
No,
I cannot
no,
believe
like
you said that.
Ashley and
online.
Jacob have the portrait mode in their phone, dropping it, going all crazy. You and I like it. I like the setup, man. It's
So,
very cool.
so
Ashley,
Trent, you
I
know,
saw you when you dropped your phone, Ashley. I saw that.
I can.
Huh?
I
I
saw
can
when you
speak-
dropped your phone.
Oh, I didn't drop it. I was leaning over, but yeah.
That is
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
So
What were you saying, Jacob?
So you the type of dude that like everything raw and uncut. You don't
All the time.
Yeah.
you don't really like that
No.
persona. Oh, I got to put this on for the camera. You know, you like, man, hell, what the hell, man? Just
No.
do it, get to it. You know what I mean? So I like that. I like that about you. I like that about you, man.
It's horrible.
I really, really, because I just feel like that's where the truth is.
Yeah, right.
That's and I'm a man of truth, right? I like to get to the
face is
depths
like
of
so
something.
red. You
What?
guys see this? My face is so red. Look, he's coming at a gangster show. You don't
Yeah.
know. My kids call me the lamest person on this earth. He
Nah,
said, "This was
man, but
gangster. This is a okay. Yeah, we got to do better. We got to get backdrops or something."
Why?
yeah, why exactly?
That is
No.
hilarious. That is so funny.
She's gonna be
But-
like, Ashley, I need you to do this backdrop real quick. Can you use your graphic design skills to do
Yes.
this backdrop?
No, you
Why?
gotta do things. You gotta do things nice. Like it took me like an hour to set up. I got like 3 ring lights. I have different lights right here. I'm in a hotel room. I came in here like early. I set all my shit up, whatever. So like I want things to look nice. Like I want things to be done properly. But I don't need things to be fake once we're in the setup. You understand?
Right,
like
right.
I don't
Right.
need
Like,
it to
this
be
is
like
real. You got
you
the
know,
real
send
serenity
me-
prayer here.
yeah,
We
like
got beautiful
send me your
flowers.
20 questions. Let me think about what I want to answer. That's not a good answer. And then we work on it. And then we come in here and we're like, Jacob asks a question and then I answer it. And then Nicole asks it. Like, you're not getting to know me. Like, what the fuck is that shit? Like, we
Listen.
were here.
You ended
Yeah,
up
we-
doing what I told you were gonna do.
Yeah, exactly.
I told you that this is your show. You run the show. You do what you want to do. By after 32 minutes of the show and the show was going, you begin to ask everyone else questions. And you started with
Yeah.
Ashley, and I was quiet and I let you do it. I love it. You ended up doing what I told you were going to do anyway.
I
Right.
definitely enjoyed your dialogue tonight, man.
You had a
Yeah, I
good
definitely
time.
enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
Thank you,
definitely
thank
enjoyed
you,
it,
thank you.
man. You
Yeah,
know,
we had a good time.
even though you know you was like, well, this is what the dictionary says, but you still be like, I understand what you're saying. So you know what I mean. So you know, I can appreciate that, man, because you gotta think, man, ain't nobody from on this platform from down south but me. So we think a little different, bro. You know what I mean?
I feel you.
We think a little different. Like what she said, nice is up there in Chicagoland. It's not that down south. For
Yeah,
sure.
exactly.
I'm saying that, and I'm not saying that that's in the Chicagoland area. I'm saying that from an educational realm, not the Chicagoland area. I just got a hoodie on because I just got off an 18-wheeler. I drive a truck. But this right here reads, and remembers and
Okay.
remembers. So I am educated and smart, and I'm 44 and I still go to college, let me tell you. So that's where that came from. It didn't come from everybody here probably would agree with you. So it just came from me, you know, looking at the dictionary a lot and reading a lot of words and being hit
So-
with just saying
taught
why
us
I
something.
like the word. That's why.
So Trent, I can tell you like this: when people from New York, Chicago, Jersey, Philadelphia, LA, once they move down south, they feel they be like, I didn't know people like this existed. Why everybody got so much money? You know what I mean? So it's different, man. Like it's different. We just a little different. That's all.
So many. You said they have so. Why you guys? They're really mannerism. They have good.
Where does that come from, though? Where does that come from? That was down south. Yes, sir. Yes, madam.
That come from your grandparents putting their foot in your ass. If you don't, if you don't show no respect, they put all in your ass.
My kids say yes, ma'am, no, sir, yes, sir, yes.
Yeah, it's Southern hospitality, right?
I'm
the same way. I always say, everyone's like, oh my gosh, you're so polite or you're so whatever. But like, I always say, please, thank you, yes, or to me, it's just common courtesy. I respect you as another human being, or a man to man, or a man to woman. It just should be normal. But yeah, I get you. Like, I don't fucking fuck with rude people at all, man. I cannot take that. So I love that Southern hospitality, that Southern mentality. So I feel you on that.
Yeah, you come to Chicago, it's really, no one talks to you. I remember being lost downtown Chicago because I live in the suburbs. So I was downtown and I was like trying to get like from the train, I guess, to another train that they had, like down from an Amtrak to a Metro to commute. And like no one said anything to me. And it was like 150 people passed me by. Like no one said anything. And I was like, can you help me? Can you help me? Can someone help me? And they were just looking at me like, the world got so big and I was just like lost. And I was like, God help me right now. I just horrible. It was really bad.
I just be thinking, Nicole, that something happened to you when you was a child or something. Because you can't be from that area and be that nice. Because nobody's fucking nice there. Nobody. Like, I
don't know. I don't know. I'm
Nicole,
like,
you were born in Chicago?
Yeah. I was born in, well, I live in the suburbs. I've never lived in Chicago. I live in the suburbs, but we say Chicago
because close enough. Yeah.
Like 15 minutes away, 20 minutes away.
I'm in the suburbs of Montreal. I just say Montreal too. So I will tell you though, Chicago is a beautiful fucking.
It is. At
one of the most. Gorgeous. Oh man, I was there modeling for like 2 weeks. There was one Sunday I went out and I just walked all around Chicago for 18 hours and I took pictures. I just was from Soldier Field to to the what's the center where Jordan played at? What do you got?
United Center.
Basketball United Center. Like I walked everywhere. It's a gorgeous city. The water going through the downtown. I love Chicago.
Oh yeah. Speaking of Michael Jordan, why I got you on here and all of y'all. So listen, man. I said Mike definitely the GOAT, man. So I'm watching the All-Star game and I see him give Mary J. Blige a hug and Mike just smoothly slides his hand on Mary's ass, and the camera just started taking pictures of Mike's hands on Mary J's ass, and she just welcomed it. It seems like she poked her butt out a little bit more.
When was this today?
What's the question?
It was the question is who else could get away with that?
I honestly think that he did it by accident. I don't think that he was trying to grab Mary's ass in the middle of the court with all those cameras around. You think that he was trying
Mike is an old school dude, man. Mike is an old school dude, man. It's just like the pastors that give the so-called church hug. They don't be church hugs, brother.
For those pastors, that's a whole other conversation.
Right.
But yeah. I don't know. I'm not saying that for 1,000% fact. It could be like, that old school kind of whatever, which is not right. You can't get away with that shit in 2022. But I mean, look, if I had to guess, I think that he was just being comfortable, and I don't think he was trying to grab Mary's ass.
I just feel like if I'm worth, $3.7 billion, what she would slap somebody else for, she welcomed me to do it. I'm just saying, and you're Michael Jordan, you're the GOAT.
Yeah, and exactly.
So, I mean, I'm just saying, you might join.
Shout out to Mary and Michael.
No doubt.
If that you about to start a room where it's gonna be on it's gonna be all over.
Oh, that was all over the
They
internet.
said the
It's already on the internet. All
Right.
over the
All over.
internet.
Really?
Yes.
all
Where
over.
have I been? I've been in that truck too long.
I don't
I'm
know,
too
man. You
stuff.
be sleeping too much, man. Like that's been
I'm
like,
like, wow, I have no
man.
idea. No, I didn't even see that. I
Yeah,
didn't even see
that's been
that.
all over the internet, man. Just like it's all on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, everywhere.
I was too busy trying not to kill myself.
Oh, Ashley's tired. She's yawning.
Yeah, it's time. It's time. It's
No,
time.
my shoulder is starting to hurt.
Stay with us. Everyone comes to Exquisite Conversation. Everyone comes to Winding Down, and I love it. I love the narrative. I love that you gave us how you felt about this. You loved it. We definitely want you to come back. We want you to come back. We want you to enjoy the show again.
Yes.
We'll come back to you probably in a couple of weeks. Maybe, if you want to come up with a scenario and we do a series to help people mentally, we can do that. But we definitely want you to come back. You stayed over. I love it. I appreciate you. If there's anything I can do, my name is Pavani J. Nicole Jordan. You'll see me. I'm a PR. There's a couple of things that I'm doing. I'm a mover and a shaker out here. I would really love for you to go to the interview.
Yeah, I'm a mover and shaker, yo.
Seriously,
hey, yo.
Listen, go to NWIAA and sign the petition, because we're like trying to get a coalition going to get the Biden so that we can try to have him help us get sustainable funding to help the children. So I was serious. I wasn't cracking a joke at that moment when he said that.
What were you gonna say, Jacob?
Just look it up for me, please, because you're like a huge deal.
All I'm saying is Nicole, when you was doing all that, I was about to send you straight to Rockefeller A&R so Jay-Z could sign you.
Yo, Dame Dash, what up?
Really? Are you serious?
Yeah,
I was just trying to think of what to say and not to say it wrong.
Hey, man, I'm like, oh man, I didn't really know Nicole freestyle like that, man. Let me get my peoples on the jack.
Yeah,
let me get my peoples on the jack.
You're very important, Trent. That's all I'm saying. And
thank you.
I would really like for you to, even if you just sign the petition, if we can get your signature there, it would probably help them out a whole lot. So yeah, it's women in agriculture, helping the minority women and children. And also we have someone else that's coming up really, really soon that's our client, and we're going to do a huge announcement on her probably tomorrow. And I just want to tell you that I appreciate you being here.
Thank you. I appreciate you guys having me. It was super fun. I had a really good time. And like I said, man, keep it up, man. Keep that crazy, wild, midnight, gully, gutter shit going, man. It was really cool.
Don't change.
Exactly. Yeah, man. And send me the recording. Don't forget to send me the recording.
I got you.
On my IG.
You got
okay?
You.
Yeah, Mr. COO. I'm hitting up the COO. He's always the one that's going to do that work. Okay. I got you.
I got you, brother. I got you.
All right, guys. Thank you so much, man. Have a good night.
You guys have a good night.
You too.
Right.
Have a good
Take
one.
Care. Bye-bye.
Bye.